Welcome back, you Degenerates, to the number one fantasy football podcast in the world. I'm your host, Mike, with dear friend Billy, Joe Green. How's everybody doing tonight?
What's going on, Mikey? How you guys doing? I am tired from the long road trip I took, but it was a great time.
How many cows do you see out there?
I was with our good friend Greggy, and he freaked out because we passed a cow farm, and he lost his mind because there was like 300 of them.
You should have milked Dreddy over there.
I should have milked Greggy?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I'd rather not.
So we're in week 2. We're about to talk about week 2. We have lots of news, a lot of injuries going into this week. Quite frankly, it's just a shit show out there. A lot of games we weren't expecting to play out the way they did, and they did. So, Billy, you want to kick us out with the news or injuries, or do you want me to go for it?
You can go through it.
All right.
I'm trying to pull up your notes real quick.
Sounds good. For injuries, starting off, we have Michael Gallop. He's IR for a couple up to 3 weeks because of his ankle. Robert Mustard, he's out for the year. His decision with his medical staff with his knee.
It's no surprise. That's no surprise at all. He's made of glass.
Yeah, he's too fast for his skin. Jerry Judy, expected to be on the IR. He's going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks. So I think they're going to push him to the IR because they can just call back as many players as they want. Ryan Fitzpatrick, IR, hip problems. There's a special word for it. I'm not going to say it. It's too big for my vocabulary.
Yeah, I tried to say it the other day while it was happening, and it ended real bad. I got made fun of.
Yeah, it's me. Vocabulary, speech problems, no. I also put the Jets left tackle, Becton. There's a good reason why I put this. He's going to be out for 4 or 5 weeks. He dislocated his kneecap. Fat people don't dislocate kneecaps and survive very long.
That sounds like it hurts.
Yeah. Imagine being 400 pounds and you don't have a knee. Those are my main injuries. I don't know if I missed any.
As far as main ones go, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's still people who are banged up, but nothing's official yet. So just keep an eye out for the injury graphic that Joe Green sets up every week. That thing is sweet.
Yeah, one of our top things. There's plenty of players that we were expecting to play, like OBJ, and players that we didn't know Sherman was going to be out. People like that, you'll know right before the game thanks to our injury report.
I want to bring something up before you go into it.
Yep.
I saw down at the bottom of your notes that you have me going 1-5. I want it to be 1-4 because Odell did not play.
That's fine.
That's not fair.
Joe, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
I should have went 2-4, but fucking Darrell Henderson fell into the end zone at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And Mr. Joe Green's cheering him on because he's on his fantasy team. He's not a company guy, you know.
I thought Henderson was going to get in just because of the fact that he played 94% of the snaps, but that's not how our thing is going. So let's get it off the top waiver wire. You want to go for this or?
Yeah, I got you. I actually want to add, like, I like the ones you have up here for yours. You had Zach Pascal, 2.4% roster on ESPN. A little bit more digging. He was out on the field in 2 wide receiver sets 86% of the time. That's somebody you just have to pick up automatically. I didn't realize it because I didn't get to watch that game.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Ingram is somebody who I drafted at the end. I actually traded my draft pick for you and moved up and took him. And you called me stupid. But, you know, he took almost all the carries. He looked decent. I think that's more of a pickup for standard leagues, but he should definitely be owned. He's a starting running back, especially when you're going to start seeing all these running backs start to go down. Christian Kirk is another one I do like, but I don't know. We'll talk about it a little bit later on when we go into the actual game because I'm not sure if it was just like game script because he caught 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I really like picking up Tim Patrick this week. I think that with the loss of Judy, he'll be able to step up. I do think he's a better football player than KJ Hamler. They both had 4 targets, both had 4 catches. But I do think Tim Patrick's the better player. Elijah Mitchell is probably what everybody's going to be on. But I don't know if he's going to be the starter. But like, same reason why everybody drafted Sermon is there's value in both these guys. Trey Sermon was told not to play, was a healthy scratch because he missed curfew. Him and Ayuk, they both missed curfew. They were probably out, they got a Tinder swipe.
Strip clubs.
Yeah, they got a Tinder match, was out there on the town doing their thing. So that's what happened. And my biggest one really is Jameis. I've been banging this drum. He's only 47% owned, and I've been begging people to pick him up, and nobody's listening to me. You saw what happened. I really thought he would throw for at least one interception, but good for him. Another wide receiver who's somewhat owned, but not like he's owned in 12-team leagues most likely. Sterling Shepard. He got the majority of the targets, had the touchdown to a good Denver defense, and Danny Dimes doesn't look good. The offensive line looks terrible.
Horrible.
Oh, that one play that Joe sent in the group chat before was the worst offensive person I've ever seen in my life. You can't make it up. So they're going to be down. They're going to need to throw the ball. So I do think there's a lot of value there. If you need a streaming tight end, Gerald Everett always has touchdown upside. I wanted to put Higbee on the list, but I found out he's like really owned a lot higher.
Yeah, he's owned. I looked at him on all of my leads, and they're picked up on everywhere.
Yeah. Just two more. If you need a streaming quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater or Heineke. Heineke's going against the Giants. I kind of like the matchup better than most people think because he does have the rushing upside. And then Sammy Watkins. Watkins got a lot of work last night, more than I really thought he would, but stepped up, did the job. I love it. Do you have anybody else? I see some other people on this list that I really
I do.
Bother.
One, I don't know. I think it's one of those people you're just going to star. Maybe you pick them up after the waiver wire. You're not going to use your pick, especially if you have extra spot. KJ Osborne, he's the Vikings third wide receiver. He did pretty good, especially down towards the end of the game. He's not even owned, 0.1%. I have one really good name. I think he's definitely going to be owned by the end of the year. Pharaoh Brown, tight end for the Texans. All right. He's 0% owned. He had a great game. I think 6 catches, 50 yards, a touchdown. The main reason why I have him on my list, Tyrod Taylor, he made Charles Clay look great back in 2015, 2017. And this is the same meatball looking guy, same figure, everything, and Texans don't really have a tight end. So if this is the guy Tyrod wants.
I don't hate that. It's just like for me to pick up a tight end like that caliber, like I need to see another week of him like at least get targets. And as far as Osborne goes, you need them to be behind, otherwise he's useless.
There's a lot of this is when you're reading.
I don't hate it because the Vikings look terrible. Mm-hmm. They looked really bad. So like it's not something I hate. I really don't hate it at all.
This is the player that is kind of. I like it because of what I've read from, all the beat writers and all that. They said this guy is just, worked harder, progressed, and just showed up in camp. So it's actually showing up. He didn't even play one wide receiver. He only played special teams last year, and now he's already producing on the field. So
yeah, they had that kid BB last year.
BB.
But like I said, because they have Thielen and they have Jefferson, like he's not taking their spot.
Yeah,
so it was game script for that. I have some quick weekly winners, and then we'll go into trending up and trending down.
Okay.
Weekly winners. Number 1, Jalen Hurts. Looks like how Lamar wishes he could play. He looked phenomenal. I went back last night after watching Monday Night Football. I watched all the highlights. He looked great. He threw the ball. That was a dime he threw to Devonta Smith. He looked real impressive, given it was the Falcons. You don't know if it's just like a one-game thing, but he looked real good. Jameis, of course, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Who would have thought that was ever gonna happen?
No Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Real quick about Michael Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
He hit the COVID list today.
Oh, nice. Well, he's already on the list, so.
Yep. Weekly winner, me, because of Corey Davis. Corey motherfucking Davis. Told you guys. And Kyle Pitts had the best 4-catch, 31-yard performance of all time. And you can't tell me otherwise. I have a stat that might change your mind about Kyle Pitts later on. I know you don't believe it. You'll be in denial, but it was more Matt Ryan sucking than Kyle Pitts.
I know Matt Ryan. Guess what? Matt Ryan's going to be on the team for the whole next 2 years, probably.
Yeah, well, we'll see. 2 more for the winners, then we'll go into losers. Dan Campbell's fantasy team, trying to convince everybody to sit DeAndre Swift, saying that Jamal Williams is going to get the workload, and then after the first play, DeAndre Swift goes for like 50 yards and a touchdown. Things you hate to see. And Jamar Chase for being the biggest troll of all time and purposely dropping all those balls in preseason and in practice just to have a monster game in week 1. Weekly loser, sorry I got to do it to you, Mike. It's you for telling everybody Amari was a sit. That's just something that you hate to see. It was at the point where I was like, hey, Amari, it's enough. Don't kick him while he's down.
Honestly, you see the first game of the year, and it's like, all right, I picked Cooper, and I just see injuries, and just they were torturing him anyway. So I mean, it is what it is.
The first drive, they had 2 corners go down with injury out for the game, and I was like, this is gonna end badly for all of us.
And 2 safeties, and I was like, nope, they don't have anybody else.
Yep. Ronald Jones, rest in peace. I had a take last week that I thought Ronald Jones would finally take the next step. I was wrong. He's droppable. You shouldn't drop him, but to me, he's droppable because I own him, and he might be on the waiver wire for you boys later on this week. We'll see.
Apparently, he's the starter this week.
Yeah, I'll talk about it later because that's exactly what I wrote. Like, I feel like Bruce Arians is just trying to troll everybody, and like I just don't want any part of the backfield anymore. Najee Harris, but it's because that offensive line didn't show up against a new improved Bills defensive line. Rousseau was in the backfield like immediately on every play. Kevin Ridley, you're a loser. You had 6 points in the first drive and then had 4 points the rest of the game. Same situation about Pitts, I didn't get to watch a lot of that game. I don't know if you watched it, Mike. You watched the whole game?
Yeah.
Was like the Eagles defense playing good, or was Matt Ryan that bad?
Eagles defense was playing pretty decent.
Okay.
I think that the Falcons, they should have ran the ball. They had that's why I have him on waiver wire. I have Cardell Patterson, because he looked really good running, better than Mike Davis did. I feel like he had more speed, and he was able to hit the hole. When it came down to it, I just think Matt Ryan missed a lot of opportunity, but Darius Slay did show up.
Yeah, I mean, I figured Darius Slay would show up, but we'll see. It's also game 1. Get the dirt, get the rust off, Week 1's always strange. Like every year, I freak out about how bad we are doing this, and I'm just like, and we're not really that bad when you think. Go dive deeper. Next, Urban Meyer, you're a fucking idiot. You were the worst coach to ever coach in the NFL. Through 1 week, you managed me to completely forget about who Adam Gase is. Don't even care about Adam Gase anymore. The idea that you could possibly not run the ball with the better running back of the 2, first off, and then only run the ball a total of 15 times, even positive game script, negative game script, it doesn't matter. They can't stop the run, and you just chose to run halfback dive up the middle, like just on a first down. That's all you did. You're terrible. You should be fired. Marquez Callaway, I don't really think it was his fault. I think it was more Aaron Rodgers trying to throw the season. They had very positive yardage pretty much on every time they touched the ball, so I'm not giving up on Callaway yet. I just felt like it was a down day.
Now, he even though he had 5 touchdowns, he didn't have a lot of yards.
He had 146 yards on 5 touchdowns. It was insane.
Yeah, so wait until they actually play an actual good defense.
Yeah.
And they have to actually have a drive, not down the field, just in one play. So I want to do a little new section called Trending Up and Trending Down. These are usually players that are on your team already or on your bench that are either going to be trending up or trending down. Me and Billy arguing a lot about these because some of them he's trending up and some of them I'm trending down. I'm going to start off with Elijah Mitchell trending up. Obviously, He's going to be number one waiver wire pick up.
Unless you're trying to stream quarterbacks, then it should be Jameis and just keep there all the time. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Next, I have Latavius Murray. I mean, the second half of that game in the Raiders game, Ravens, it showed you everything. Tyson Williams had a great first half, but they didn't trust in him. So guess what? Murray took it all. I expect it to be 50-50 in that backfield going forward. So next, I have actually Zach Pascal.
I like
that. Because of Campbell. Paris Campbell, you had a great opportunity with T.Y. Hilton being hurt, and you're just not on the field. I think you're on the field 30% of the time. Then I have Sermon. He's trending down thanks to him.
I disagree with that.
Yes.
I think both him and Mitchell are both trending up, just like how I kind of think. Like, you're on the Latavius Murray train. I think they both get a boost, and they're both going into play.
You could say he gets a boost because there's an injury, but the fact that you sat out and you have Hasty taking the spot instead of you on that active roster, like in the game, is just horrible.
It's a learning lesson for the young player. He won't do it again.
People that don't know, once you're in the dog house, not dog water, dog house of Shanahan, you stay there. It's pretty hard to get out.
I just want to say real quick, allegedly they showed up after curfew. It's allegedly. He didn't say that. He said he picked Hasty and what's his name because they're special teamers and they didn't need 4 running backs. And then Ayuk was limited because of a hamstring, quote unquote. But
and Hasty is a 5'8". What does he do on special teams? He doesn't punt or kick return. He's bullshit.
A gunner, I'm assuming.
It's bullshit. I think it's bullshit. I think the actual reason is the reason why it was all over Twitter, and not just like the coach speak, like, oh yeah, because he's not gonna be like, oh yeah, he missed curfew, therefore he's not gonna play week 1.
I'm just saying, keep a good eye out for both of these players that got sat out, because once you're in the doghouse with Kyle, it doesn't look good. Dante Pettis, he doesn't even play for the team no more. Second round pick, same value as those two.
I know he stinks though. There's a difference.
Okay, when you look back on his rookie year, he didn't stink. He was drafted in the 4th round, just like them. And guess what? He got benched, didn't play again. Now he's on the Giants practice squad.
That's how you know you stink, if you're on the practice squad Giants. That's how you know you're bad.
It's still, you spent capital, 2nd round pick. He still should be on a roster.
Yeah, well, Ryan Leaf was a 1st overall pick, and look how that turned out.
Last but not least, I have Russell Gage. You're fucking dog water. You belong in a tent out in the middle of Montana.
That I can fully agree with. No questions asked. Until they can figure out how to run that offense.
You're going against the Eagles. You don't have double coverage. You don't have triple coverage. You're the 3rd option. You should have been all over the place, and you look like you didn't even catch anything. Then you had 1 catch for 4 yards. Nothing. Finally, let's get into Thursday night game.
Giants football team?
Yeah, Washington football team against the Giants. Call this the shit ball. As we already said, Henneke is going to be coming in, starting for Fitz. Gibson looked pretty good. He has a banged-up shoulder this week. He's in an injury report, but I didn't put it because I know he's going to play.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. I'm not worried.
He looked really good, average 4-point yards first game. 90 yards. The only downside, he didn't get in the end zone.
He had so many touchdowns as a rookie last year. Like, you kind of expect him not to get into the end zone the same amount of times. Like, you expected regression, but you're kind of hoping for more in the passing, which he did get. So,
yeah, I thought he was going to get more, catches from the backfield looks, but it didn't happen. Unfortunately,
I mean, he had 5 targets.
Yeah,
can't catch everything.
Yeah. One of my duds of the week is going to be Barkley. You got to send him down again. This is even a better front 4 than the fucking Broncos have. The Giants look awful, and to
Yeah.
be frank, if it's not Shepard, I wouldn't start anybody. And I'm only starting Shepard because he's a security blanket for Jones, and he's running short routes anyway.
Yeah. Do you have more faith in Shepard going through the rest of the year than Kenny Galladay, even though you spent a lot of money on Kenny Galladay?
Going through the year?
Yeah.
No, because Shepard's always hurt too. So.
Okay, I was just wondering. You're the Giants professional. Yeah.
I would say Shepard has a better chance of being healthy. If you watch the end of the game against Broncos, Jones was just throwing up balls to Galladay, and Galladay was getting hit. You know, jump balls because he's big.
Yep. Like you said, Washington football team, they're better front four. They only gave up 90 rushing yards last week to the Chargers. One thing to note that I did notice, that I'll retouch on it again when we talk about the Chargers. They didn't allow any targets to the running back last week. They didn't try to throw the ball to one running back last week in an offense where Austin Eckler's in back there, and then I'm sorry, they have one. I'm just correcting myself. I saw Justin Jackson all the way down at the bottom with one target, no catch. But Antonio Gibson is locked and loaded. 89% of the share in the backfield is fifth most in the NFL. I think that you're playing Terry every week. By the way, that was an insane catch that he made over falling down backwards. It was absolutely insane. Logan Thomas, you're playing him if you drafted him. I think that they're all decent plays. I do think that Logan Thomas will probably get bigger work this week over Terry, just because Bradbury will be on Terry most of the game. And I think there's better opportunity for Logan Thomas to be open than for Terry to be open. So just keep an eye on that. I'm a little bit higher on Logan Thomas than I am on Terry McLaurin this week.
Yeah, Terry's actually one of my duds as well.
Oh, is he? I have Saquon as a dud. I'm gonna be on that wagon until
I honestly think he's
otherwise.
Washed. I think he's washed. He looks ugly. What else do I have here? Just for a little shits and giggles, you think there's a little bit of whisper of Cam Newton going to Washington?
No. That already happened, and then
it's on Twitter. It's blowing up.
It was on Twitter when it happened last time, right after he got cut, because the thing with Rivera, even Rivera came out in an interview and was like, nah, like I thought about it and I was like, I'm happy with what I have.
Yeah, but now Fitz is hurt. Oh,
I love Heineke.
I think the Heineke is a better option for this team.
Yeah, I do too. Like we talked about at the beginning of the year, like Heineke is a great option, and they have Josh. What's his name? Kyle Allen. I'm thinking Josh Allen. I got Josh Allen in the mind. I'm still upset. They still have Kyle Allen, who he brought over from the Panthers, who he really likes as well. If he picks up Cam, it's going to be on the practice squad, and Cam's not going to want that because Cam lost his job to Kyle Allen.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Next up, Denver versus Jacksonville, baby. Urban Meyer.
You fucking dog water.
Should he retire due to health reasons like he did at Florida and everywhere else?
He said he came out, was it last night or today? He said his heart may not be in it anymore.
He said that?
Yeah, he said that. There's rumors that he said that in the locker room.
I don't know how you go into this with one of the most scouted best QB to come out of college since, Luck, and then plan the future with him. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Trevor Lawrence is an absolute bust. It's confirmed.
It's
through
not
3 interceptions.
I mean, we can't even talk about interception. I mean, Peyton Manning had the most interceptions ever as a rookie season.
Shout out to Pick Six for giving me this great stat. He's currently on pace for 51 interceptions on the year.
I saw that post. It was just someone had 85 sacks.
It's satire, of course. But if you're gonna, look at Joe Burrow last year, he put up decent numbers before he got hurt. But if you throw the ball 51 times, you're gonna get hurt. As a rookie who has no O-line, no balanced game, they know what's gonna happen. They're just gonna start sending people. It's a recipe for disaster. He put up 332 yards, but he threw for 50%.
Yeah.
You know, I don't trust him. And the idea that Carlos Hyde is getting more carries than James Robinson makes me. And like you own James Robinson, I feel bad for you because I thought James Robinson was great.
I thought he was gonna be great week 1. Perfect matchup.
Like we can't even count that as a loss. Like who saw that coming? There's 0 people saw that coming.
It's not. He didn't even run the ball.
He didn't
anybody.
He didn't. James Robinson had 1 carry through 3 quarters until it was 37-21. Then he got 4 carries. It was nonsense.
That's crazy. Basically everyone on Jacksonville spread the ball pretty even. 9 to Shenault, 9 to Marvin Jones, and 12 to DJ Chark. Any thoughts on that?
DJ Chark caught nothing. He had 3 receptions. Like I didn't like. This was a game that was on during the Steelers-Bills game, so I was watching the Steelers-Bills game for the most part and had Red Zone on the other TV. But you get targeted 12 times, you bring 3 of them in. I don't know. Like I'd be worried. Like I'm not exactly worried about him, but it's concerning because imagine the day he could have had if he brought more than those in. He had 86 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Oh, one of those was a deep ball to him.
Yeah,
and that
it was a 41-yarder.
Yeah. Which it's crazy. I mean, for PPR, getting 12 targets, we're talking about, there's not many players that are getting that.
Yeah. I'd like to see again this week. Like obviously, like DJ Chark is owned and Shenault is owned, and you brought up O'Shaughnessy in the waiver pickups, which I don't hate, and you can stash him on your bench because like you say. There's people like Paris Campbell, like I said in the beginning of the year, he's somebody who can win you your league, but you'll know week 1 if he does or not.
Yeah.
Like that's somebody you can drop immediately. You could pick somebody up like him. Yeah, no, if they're going to throw the ball 50, 55 times a game, then there's definitely a lot of value there. And then James Robinson is definitely droppable, right, Mike?
Not yet. Talking about Denver, Judy's hurt. How do you see this playing off for them?
I think that it's going to be Noah Fant's team, and then Sutton going to get work on the outside as well. But you agree?
Oh, I love it. Noah Fant, baby. I made the huge mistake in one of my leads drafting Sutton and Fant, and I was screwed. And I was like, you know what? This doesn't look good. And then guess what? Judy got hurt, so I was like, yep, let's do this. So it's looking promising now.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. And one thing that shocks me in this game is like I felt like everybody, including us, including most people on the internet, felt like Melvin Gordon was going to get most of the rushing work in the beginning. It literally was down the middle.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Melvin Gordon getting that 70-yard breakout touchdown, the stats would have been exactly the same.
I believe it's going to play out just like it does at the Browns. All year with the Browns. Oh. I feel like it's going to be 50-50. Why not have 2 of the most stud? Going to have 2 stud running backs like Chubb and Hunt. Same thing. Both go for 1,000 yards. I think Gordon is better at catching anyway, so let him be in that role. Even though Williams had some catches. That's my thoughts. I think it's going to be 50-50, and I wouldn't be afraid to play either of them, especially early on.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think either one of them, like you take away that 70-yard rush, like I don't think either one of them ran very well. Mm-hmm. Like Javonte had 3.1 a carry. You take away the 70, it's about the same for Melvin Gordon. I can't do the math off the top of the head, but I do think they're both at least flex worthy this week,
especially against Jats.
Yeah. Like that was a play we did all last year. Which is something I should have seen when I was making the DFS lineups because one of the kids in the DFS league that we do played Mark Ingram. And I was like, who does that? What kind of shit pick is that? He goes, he's playing the Jaguars, bro. I'm like, it was an overlook on my part because I was so concerned about James Robinson.
I think if Denver, if Jacksonville could give 85 yards to a 34-year-old Ingram, Gordon and Williams should eat.
Yes. No, I 100% agree.
Next up to division rivals, Buffalo, Miami.
Josh Allen coming back. bounce back game.
Huge game. Miami wins this game. This is looking great for the division. They have 2 division wins. This is huge.
And Mike, what happened to the Patriots winning 30-0 the other day?
Yes, I didn't say that. Clip me in.
We'll clip you because that's word for word what you said.
I
said I like the under in that game, which it hit, but I was like, you were like, yeah, then of course the under's gonna hit because the Patriots gonna win 30-0.
They should have.
No, they shouldn't have. You're sleeping on how good Dolphins are.
I'm sleeping on their defense. I'm not sleeping on their offense.
Yeah, I got a hot take about that Tua that reminds me of Saquon when we get into it. But let's talk about the Bills first. I think that you wrote down that Josh Allen's back to being mediocre, didn't you?
58% throwing.
Going against the top three pass defense in the league.
All right, what are you going to say when you're going against Miami? It's going to be a top 5 defense.
I agree. It's a tough schedule to start. I knew that because I own Josh Allen. I've been prepared for this moment.
I think they have to run the ball. I think if Buffalo doesn't start running the ball, it's not going to work out well. I mean, Singletary looked great for them. 11 carries, 72 yards. He's averaging 7 yards a carry. Singletary fumbles, but I mean, put Zach Moss in there. Put Breida. Singletary's.
Yeah, Breida looked terrible. He had four touches for 4 yards.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal was with Zach Moss. He was a healthy scratch, just like Sermon was. I don't know what happened. They both came out at the same exact time, and like I was just about to go live, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to get some weird ass questions now. I think that Zach Moss is the better runner. I do think Singletary has value as a pass catcher out of the backfield, but definitely Moss is the better running back, the better true running back. So it kind of hurt them.
It was a stat. It was 1 every 10 carries Singletary fumbles, whether he gets it back or not.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping they draft a running back this year.
You talk about Daniel Jones. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't fumbled the ball 30 times already in his career, so. That's good.
Well, he also doesn't have the ball that much.
He's not very good. And that's why they don't run the ball all that often.
What about things?
I'm not worried about the Bills' offense. I'm not.
I'm not. I don't know. I just don't like my QB throwing 51 times. It doesn't matter who it is. It's not healthy.
I agree. Cole Beasley is already back to being somebody who should be owned. It happens every year.
Yeah, every year. No one drafts him. He's always on team. Mm-hmm. Buffalo also leads almost all stats on defense, which is something I didn't expect. I expect them to be, top, I would say like around 10, 12 ranked defense. They really showed up. I mean, they only gave, 45 yards to Najee Harris, who was top running back picked this year.
Yeah, I mean, that D-line looked much improved. I mean, they were already good. They have Ed Oliver, but then they added Rousseau. They had 2 tackles in the backfield. We already know how good the secondary is. Matt Milano is a beast over the middle. It's a good defense. But that was I watched every second of that game. That's why I didn't really. A lot of the 1:00 games I had to go back and catch up on.
There's so many of them.
But those are my 2 favorite teams. So I could not keep my eyes off how shit the game was because it's all defensive. So I wanted a nice Josh Allen, Big Ben shootout, but it didn't happen. And by the way, not worried about Najee one bit. We'll get into that later. Not worried.
No, I'm not worried about Najee because no matter what, he's gonna get the carries.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's gonna be a week or two. I mean, he's not gonna be going against top 5 defenses every week. When he's going against the Jets, home run. When he's going against the shitty teams, he's gonna eat it. He's gonna eat. For this passing attack on the Steelers, it looks awful.
I mean, we're not talking about the Steelers. Still talking about the Dolphins.
Oh, sorry, Dolphins.
I know. I don't know.
Eyes right below. Yeah, Dolphins. Yeah, Dolphins. What do you think about Waddle?
I feel like I don't know. He should have been somebody who you could have sat. He caught that ball at the very end. It was a great catch.
Yeah,
it was a real great catch. He's a great player, but I don't trust Tua. And I'd go on a limb and say I wouldn't start him again this week. But I'm not doing it back to back with all the same players as my sits this week. Can't do that. I feel like as long as Waddle stays on the left side, he's going to get the ball a lot. Because I watched a little bit, watched all the highlights of all the completed passes. Almost all of them were on the left side. Just like how Saquon can only run to the right. Tua can only throw the ball to the left.
He's a lefty.
I know, but like even, he can't look on the other side of the field. He's not even, his eyes aren't even going that side of the field.
I think you forget that he's lefty though. So like,
no, I know he's a lefty.
If you, I know, but if you went through all the stats, I'm guessing through all the QBs, it would be majority of whatever their arm is favoring.
No, not at all. How many times do you see him throw the ball to the right side?
I didn't get to really watch the Miami game.
It was like 3 or 4 times. And if the receiver's on the right, they run all the way across to the left this way.
They're running a post.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know.
This is going to be another match of defense versus defense, I believe. I feel like this is going to be the same thing as Buffalo Steelers.
Yep, and once again, I don't think that the Bills will be able to run the ball very well, even if Zach Moss plays. For whatever reason, he was out last week, so they're going to throw the ball a lot again.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing Diggs. I don't know. I don't think I would play Cole Beasley unless I needed a spot, like say I have an injury or something. Mm-hmm. He's going to get you the 12, 14 points. He had 13 targets this week.
Next up, Houston, Cleveland. Cleveland, huge loss going against Kansas City. And Houston looking like, I don't know, like a good team.
Like a Super Bowl team.
like a legit Super Bowl team. Tyrod Taylor finally taking over, making everyone look good going against Urban Meyer defense over there.
That was defense? Could have fooled me.
We know who the clear number 1 running back is for Cleveland, even though Hunt is featured late in games, especially on third down. Chubb 15 carries to Hunt 6. Both had touchdowns. Hunt is fair play just because, he's going to give you passing downs. And Cleveland's defense is still not that good. I mean, yeah, it's still not good. That secondary still gave up huge passes. They did improve on the front 7, but you can't be giving that much yak.
I mean, they gave up the yak to Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce.
That's the only people that catch the ball over there.
But still, it doesn't matter.
I mean, it is one of the best offenses.
At that point, they're like that. It's going to be a good defense. But like you week 1, you go against Tyreek Hill. No matter, you could put 5 guys on him, and they were at some points, and he was still just getting open. There's nothing you could do about that guy. You have to respect him enough to have people on Kelce as well. We watched the whole thing because we were in Ohio, and it was. I mean, they never should have lost that game. That punter ruined that game.
100%. They won the game.
Yeah. Just take that extra step and punt the ball again, man. I think that my personal opinion, I think Nick Chubb is going to finish the top running back this week. Because Kevin Stefanski, unlike Urban Meyer, knows how to coach a football team and sees that the Texans can't stop the run.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I wanted to put him as one of my studs, but it's like it's too risky. I have to be top 3. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go out this bang. I have to go out with a good week this week. So
yeah, we need a good week. I didn't do that either. Like, I have a couple people that were top plays. I'm like, yeah, they could. Like, you'll talk about it. Like, yeah, no, he'll probably finish in the top 3, but he's not going to be my start of the week just because you need that upside. Mm-hmm. But Kareem Hunt, you can put him right into the running back 2 role this week, no problem. Especially if they get up, because they like to save Chubb if they're up. They use more Hunt when they're winning by a large margin. They did a lot last year, so I think they'll do it again. Something we may have overlooked was no matter who the quarterback is, Brandon Cooks is still going to play well.
Well, I said he was going to be he's going to be win you leads. I said this.
Yeah, it's hard for me to judge how good you're going to be until we figure out the quarterback situation was. So I guess I'll give you some credit, but I still don't want him on my team.
I mean, let's be frank. I mean, they didn't really have to do much. I mean, let's see what happens when a team actually scores on them.
It was
the pressure's on.
The most depressing game ever. I had the under in that game. It was just so sad. So sad how bad the Jaguars are. I was like, oh, great. I even picked up Josh Lambo as my kicker because I was like, it's going to be a lot of field goals. Nobody can move the ball. Both teams stink. No. Josh Lambo had 1 point as a kicker. So if you own Josh Lambo, drop him.
Yeah, they didn't. Besides Cook, there's not much they passed to. I mean, it's Cook's show, and everybody else is just Danny Amendola.
Yeah, Danny Amendola had 5 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown. Like, he didn't do bad, but you know who I wish they would have used more was Nico Collins. I really want him to be used. I think he's a good player, but
he's just young.
Yeah.
What about Anthony Miller? You didn't want Anthony Miller to show up?
Who? How bad do you have to be to not even get a target on the Texans?
I'm pretty sure he's out for the year. Remember?
I hope so.
Is he?
Yeah,
I wouldn't even know that's how bad he is.
They traded for him.
Yeah, he is out for the year. Now I remember.
Not for the year. He's expected to be back against the Browns this week.
Yeah, it's just a shoulder injury. What the fuck?
Oh, he's gonna be back this week?
He's back.
I remember he got hurt in preseason and it was significant, but it was early in preseason, so he's back.
I have a question to both of you. Would either one of you pick up Mark Ingram, confidently?
Yeah. I mean, not confidently, but I'm gonna pick him up. Especially in wide receivers win you leads. He got 26 attempts. Anybody's gonna get 26 attempts. I'm gonna pick up. You get 18. I'll
trade him to you.
No, if you get 15 attempts, I want you on my team.
That's fair. I don't hate that opinion unless you're like.
I'll take Frank Gore at 15 attempts.
You can miss me with that one.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens went out and signed Frank Gore tomorrow. With the way that they're just signing all these old heads.
Yeah.
That's about all I have. This game's going to be a blowout. Unless Tyrod Taylor is just somehow, like, he found Jesus or something and he's now the best player in football. Like, I don't see how this game is any close. I would keep an eye on whether Odell actually plays or not because you fucked me, Odell.
Fucked all of us. He's on my team.
Made my DFS lineup look like shit and people shitting on me. Like I didn't adjust. So I'm brutal. Fuck Odell.
Next up, Cincinnati versus Chicago. Joe Mixon over 100 yards. Finally. He looked like a stud out there. No?
I agree. But I feel like you give him a couple weeks and he plays a real defense. I mean, the Bears defense didn't look very good last week. I mean, they also played a top 5 offense.
They gave up 321 yards to be exact.
Yeah. Like usually that wouldn't happen. But it is what it is. You play Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, that's what you're gonna get. I do think Jesus, Joe, why don't you just say it out loud?
Yeah.
Andy Dalton stinks. Matt Nagy stinks. David Montgomery looks really good.
He did.
He looks really, really good, like he was supposed to when he came out of college. I don't trust Joe Mixon. Don't talk to me about Joe Mixon. Give me your opinion on Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon had 100 yards. That's my opinion. To be frank.
That's a fact. That's not even an opinion.
That can always be true, though.
Do you think he's going to do it again this week?
He is not.
You think he's going to do it again next week?
I think Joe Burrow does have a show, though. I think he has to.
I don't think he's got a choice.
I don't think he has to.
But you didn't answer my question. You think Joe Mixon's going to do it again next week?
I said no.
He's not going. That?
I don't know who's playing, but he's not going to do it against Chicago. Chicago's defense is gonna. They have to show up. They have to tighten up. I would think that the Chicago secondary is after Fuller left. I think it's in crumbles. I think Chase. Oh, Higgins is hurt. He went actually on. I think he's fine, but he had a stinger or something, and he left. I can't find a report on him anywhere.
It could have just been a cramp or something, and.
Well, he went on.
I did notice he wasn't on the field towards the end of the game.
He actually went on a cart.
Oh, no way! It was that serious? I know he went to the locker room.
Yeah, he had to take
he took an IV.
Oh, see, he's got a cramp.
Maybe he had a cramp and went on the cart, and they took him inside. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he took an IV. It wasn't that serious. I'd read up on it after the game.
Well, I'm glad you found that information.
Marquis Goodwin, you're picking him up? He's Ann Dalton's favorite wide receiver.
I was on this showboat when he was on the 49ers, and he had that one good year. I'm not jumping back on again.
I wouldn't either.
But Andy Dalton does like people in the slot. Look at Boyd.
Yeah. What'd you make of your boy, Darnell Mooney?
He's dog water. He's droppable.
Stretch.
He's the worst coach. He's worse than Urban Meyer.
No, he's not.
No, at least Nagy's won football games.
Yeah, he had a chance to win that game for a bit.
He wins based off defense, not his offense. He's supposed to be offensive guru, and he's garbage.
Well,
I don't know what Urban Meyer's a guru at. I don't
Urban
think
Meyer's Urban Meyer knows how to recruit. That's his
guru, and that you don't need that.
People in the NFL play for money. You don't play for the glory of the game.
I mean, Urban Meyer knows how to talk to 50 convicted felonies at Florida and tell them not to fight. That's what he knows how to do. I mean,
Matt Nagy stinks.
I have nothing more to say about this shit game. I'm not watching it. Higgins go for 200 yards. 49ers versus Eagles. I actually love this game. This game is a big game for both teams. I think 49ers crumbled last week against the Lions. And the Eagles, they look great. Believe it or not, I root for the Eagles a lot.
The undefeated NFC East leading Eagles.
Believe it or not, I'm rooting for the Eagles a lot this year because I have a lot of stake on this team.
Our boy Kenny Gainwell looked real good. Look like quote unquote future Antonio Gibson.
Yes. Gibson S.
I was getting shit all weekend about people who I helped in drafts. Like, oh, your guy looks like shit. Like, oh yeah, Derrick Henry looks like shit because they're down by 3 touchdowns. You're just gonna ignore all the good guys we talked about, the sleepers that are popping up left and right. Okay.
Yeah. There were very few elite running back performances this past week in fantasy. Yeah. Very few.
Yeah, it was all like at best, like Christian McCaffrey had 27 points and he was the leader.
Yeah, he's 100. 100. Thoughts on Brandon Ayuk playing this game?
I don't. I hope he doesn't because I want to put Debo in my starting lineup.
Debo looking great.
Debo looked like a baller and looked like the steal of our home draft.
It is a steal. Like? I love Debo. I always loved Debo. I thought he was always better than Brown on the Titans. I thought they're both the same. They're both yak. 9 catches, 189. I said 189 fucking yards because it was a monster game.
Yeah, and he was on my bench. Well, Mike Shit Evans got fucking 5 points.
What are you saying, George?
No, I'm saying, what do you do with Ayuk though? Because this was a guy who was drafted high, and then he's inactive. Well, pretty much inactive week 1. I mean, I highly doubt anyone's going to start him week 2.
It's tough, man. The Eagles defense look good. It's hard to tell. Like, it's such a small sample size on whether if he's out there, if he's not out there. It's tight. I'd bench him this week. I'd bench him and I just rock Debo if you have him. If you don't, then you just go with a different option. Because at first I try to trade him. Trade low.
No one's trading.
Yeah, you can't trade
him. Are you kidding me?
No, sure you can.
Dude, he's trading him for dog water if you trade him.
Trade to trade, bro. Say he stinks the rest of the year. Say he stinks the rest of the year, then what?
I'd rather that than trade him his value's never been lower than it is right now.
All right.
I think you definitely wait 2 games and then trade him.
Yeah, I mean, you asked me what I'd do. I'd just package him with something else. That's what I would do.
A little icing on take.
I mean, you're not going to trade a 1-for-1 where the guy who hasn't played yet. That doesn't make any sense.
Tell that to a lot of people out there.
You just said you would trade him right now.
I'd trade him right now.
Wait, what was this argument last week? What was the argument last week? You going to trade for a stud running back?
Yeah, look how that would go right now. Like, right? Like a wide
strange.
receiver 3 Ayuk for Myles Gaskins.
Wide receiver 3 is not even. I never thought he was a wide receiver 3.
You said last week when we talked about trades, you said if you have a wide receiver,
you called him a wide receiver 3.
No, Bill, you're the one who brought him up.
We're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again.
I'll literally
20-minute
find
show.
the clip. You'll look like a clown. You're the one who called him a wide receiver 3.
Oh, I'm
the one. Clown. I said he's not a wide receiver 3. I said he's a wide receiver 2, and then you're like, no, he's a wide receiver 3. That's why I named him for the trade.
At best, wide receiver 3.
Can we talk about Sanu taking up all this team? He's just sitting out there as slow as ass, catching one catch.
Yeah, well, Brandon Ayuk is sitting on the bench.
It's horrible. Red Kittle looked good, not as great. Didn't have a touchdown. George Kittle, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 78 yards.
I thought he had a bigger game. I really did.
Yeah, you would think so. But they were up so much, they just let Lions just do whatever they wanted. I think the defense played great in the beginning, and I feel like they just let go of the gas because you know what, time was on their side, and Lions weren't going to be able to score that quick. But they ended up getting an onside kick and all that, and didn't look good for them.
Yeah, no, the Lions look like they actually had half of a decent team in the fourth quarter. So I don't know if that's more of like a thing on like Jared Goff knowing how to lead a team back from a win, or the 49ers just like taking their foot off the gas. But Jalen Hurts will take them seriously this week, and I think we were a little bit wrong. I think that Devonta Smith is big enough to play football. I think he's just tough enough. Maybe the size thing doesn't really matter all that much.
I think his best comp is Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin
Ridley's like 6'2".
Yeah, but they got that same skinny frame. Like they look the same on the field.
They're just
and they're both elite route running.
I'll give it to you. It's a stretch, but I'll give it to you.
Chris Watkins. I think if he's not on a team, I think you should pick him up. They game planned for them in the beginning, but he kind of just walked away from it. I want to know if he's actually going to be more in the game plan going in the future. I don't know.
I picked him up in Dynasty right after the draft. They worked him in a lot in the preseason. He was the biggest buzz out of their camp outside of Gainwell as far as young guys go.
Mm-hmm. He had 34 snaps of offense. That's more than even their second-round pick, Jada Whiteside. Who had a flat 0 flat line, even though he played on the team.
I wouldn't expect it. Anything less.
Goddard didn't have that great of a game. He had 4 catches, 5 targets, 1 TD last game. It's going to look harder for him this week against 49ers. And Zach Ertz pretty much did nothing. He's a flat 0 now, 2-2 and 34 yards. I don't know. You pretty much wrapped it up for the Eagles. Hurts looks great.
I don't think that there's much to talk about in this game. That we like the people you already know.
Yeah.
I
think Miles Sanders looked great though. I'm not gonna lie.
He did look good. He did look good, but the Falcons look real bad. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to tell.
Winston time, baby, going against Carolina.
Jameis Winston. MVP. Put it in now.
You already touched upon it. I do think Carolina is going to be a good defense this year. They showed it last week. I think they're going to get to the ball. And, I mean, it's a good part about New Orleans. They do have one of the best offensive line. But they're going to have to cover CMC in the offense. Mr. Hunnett.
I mean, Saints D is pretty good when it comes to against running the ball. They held Aaron Jones to a solid 3.2. And I wanted to keep. Worst part is I wanted to put him as a sit, and I was like, I'm not doing this shit again this year.
Who?
Aaron Jones. I was like, I am not doing this shit again this year. But here we go. That's how it works. Obviously you're gonna play McCaffrey. Like, doesn't matter what he does, who he's playing against. You can play in the 85 Bears. It won't matter. You're taking them. One thing about the Panthers though was the lack of use from Robbie Anderson. With that Sam Darnold previous connection, I felt like they would use him. He only had 3 targets, where Terrence Marshall had 6. Do you think he's like more the odd man out, or you think that it was just kind of how the game went?
Believe it or not, I really think the Jets planned for Robbie Anderson to be the main guy. I think Saha, I can't say his name.
We're talking about the Panthers, big guy.
I know that, but I'm saying the Panthers, when the Jets played against the Panthers, the game plan was to stop Anderson. You understand that?
Yeah, no, okay. I thought you were just...
I know, you think I was going before talking about Pitt. I know.
Yeah.
No, I feel Robbie Anderson's going to still have a big game. Big season, not big game. Lattimore is out. So...
Yeah, he got a big contract, and then like an hour later...
he did it on purpose. He's like, let me take a couple weeks off.
Shout out to Adam Troutman on the Saints. Had the most targets out of anybody.
Did he?
Yeah, he had 6 targets. Everybody else had 4 or less. I mean, they only threw the ball 20 times, but
yeah,
they were inside the 40 pretty much every time they got the ball anyway. So I don't know what to really expect about the Saints offense until I see it like actually in full swing, because they really didn't have to do anything against the Packers. That game was over by halftime.
I do think DJ Moore is still the number 1 over there. He had 8 targets. Didn't have a touchdown, but...
No. I mean, you already know my opinion on DJ Moore, but I think that he's going to be used. I mean, they're all going to be used.
Yeah.
If Terrence Marshall's on your waiver wire, you need to go scoop him, because I'm sure there's plenty of leagues where he's not owned. Like, he should be owned. Just in case he does take over one of those 2. And if you own Sam what?
No, you can talk.
I was just gonna say if you own Sam Darnold, I'd just drop him because he's not all that good.
Thoughts on picking up Tony Jones if you haven't already?
Yeah, we talked about it a couple weeks ago when they cut Lat Murray and they announced that Tony Jones was the running back too. We talked about how anybody who's ever had that role as the Saints running back 2 needs to be on your roster, and he looked good like he did in preseason. There was no doubt about it.
4.5 yards per carry, had 11 attempts for 50 yards.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we talked about it a few weeks ago. Like when that news broke that they were going to cut Lat Murray, we said run and pick him up. If you didn't draft ready, pick him up at the end of the draft. Nothing's changed in my mind.
On to the next one because we're taking a little too long.
Yep.
Rams versus Indy. Rams dominated this week. Made the Bears look like shit. Carson Wentz actually had a good game as well.
Yeah.
He had 25 for 38 attempts, 251 yards.
He didn't look terrible. I wouldn't say he had a great game, but he didn't look terrible.
Yeah. Coming off of injury and COVID and everything else, I thought it was pretty good.
What shocked me the most was that Jonathan Taylor led the team in receiving yards. And it's just something I did not ever see happening ever on the Colts.
Hey, who?
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 60-something yards. I don't have it right in front of me, but I know Joe was flipping out over there because he has not. Yeah, he subbed in Naeem Hines for Swift.
Swift, yeah.
What a shit play.
Yeah.
Hines at 14 still. I can't.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah.
If Naeem Hines is on waivers in your league, you should go pick him up. I think he was over 50% owned though, so he didn't make the list. Tyler Higbee on the Rams, he should be. We talked about it. He's about 80% owned. He should be 100% owned and be in your lineup the rest of the year. Stafford loved throwing the ball to him. Couldn't get enough between him and Cooper Kupp. Were you shocked that Robert Woods looked like the odd man out?
I'm not, because I'm not going to say a reason why. I'm not. I knew it was going to be Cooper. Are you
assuming something? I think you're assuming.
I knew it was going to be Cooper Kupp. I mean, just the same reason Stafford throws to what's his name?
Higbee?
No, Stafford. When Stafford was on the Lions, you throw to the little guy. He was on the Texans. Armadillo. Yeah.
Armadillo. I know what he's saying. Joe,
you know what I'm saying?
If you're not catching on, we'll tell you after the show.
No, I mean, I know what you're saying. I can't believe you're inferring that.
What do you mean? Why do you think Tom Brady had what's his name?
Wes Welker?
Yeah, and Peyton had
Wes Welker.
That's
a
bold
statement.
And the little small guy too, Austin Collie.
And the other one.
Clark.
The list goes on and on, does it?
Yeah,
you guys are going down a wormhole I'm not ready to get into tonight.
Yeah,
you don't have enough time for it.
You're picking the crumbs off the flour. I mean, I'm not gonna say.
I'm not. You say. I would never say something like that.
I mean, the targets say it all for yourself. And this is the reason why I like Cooper Kupp more this year.
Yeah,
even though I have Woods.
We were both on the Cooper Kupp train, telling everybody, like, regardless, Cooper Kupp has the higher touchdown upside anyway. He's bigger, faster. You know, I loved Cooper Kupp, and week one alone against a good defense shows why.
Yeah, Joe Green, are you happy? Not Sony. Is it Sony Michel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sony Michel only had one carry.
It's the very end of the game.
It was like the game was already over when he carried the ball. I mean, you couldn't be more ecstatic that Henderson saw 94% of the snaps. I mean, and the ones he didn't see were literal garbage time at the end. So
I will say,
it was great.
I put both Rams running backs as my sit of the week, and you only gave me one. The other one was a sit. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, if you played Sony Michel, you must have had some real bad shit happen to you leading up to those games.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know.
Indy's going to be in tough trouble this week against this Rams defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wouldn't start. I don't feel comfortable starting anybody outside of Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. Really, I really don't.
Rams did give a decent amount of rushing yards to our boy, Montgomery.
Yeah. David Montgomery. Moving on.
To the winners of Monday Night Football. Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders.
Versus Pittsburgh. We have to talk about Najee Harris. He has to be doing a good game this week.
Yeah. I felt like the Big Ben missed him 3 times. Threw one way over his head, threw one at his feet, threw one to the left. And, he was getting rattled. But the same thing can happen easily again. That Raiders that D-line, especially last night, put an insane amount of pressure on Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ravens have a better O-line than the Steelers do. But we'll see. That I agree with you wrote in your notes that they need to run them on some screens. If you ask Joe, we were watching the game all weekend. I'm like, run a fucking screen already.
Yeah,
because that works. It gives extra time. But we'll see.
The offensive line lets the pressure come in, and then it should be easy for them. Big Ben looked like shit. 10.4 yards per pass.
It's the offense, though. I've been telling you this for 3 years now. It's the offense. It's the offense that Mike Tomlin runs.
10.4 is extremely low.
It's just the type of offense he runs. It's an extension of the run game. And then they open it out wide.
I think the only thing that helps is Johnson and Juju. I think that hurts Claypool a lot, not being able to push the ball down the field.
Yeah. There was a little injury scare with Deontay Johnson there for a minute. I thought he was going to be hurt for a bit. He was down there. He was down on the ground for about 5 minutes and then got back up. But went on playing in the second half. So just keep an eye on that in case he gets stored throughout the week. He might be a healthy scratch or something.
10 targets.
No, go ahead. No, I was going to talk about the other team.
No, 10 targets for him, 8 targets for Juju, and 5 for Claypool. Your Patty also had one good catch.
It was a gorgeous throw. It was the best throw that Big Ben threw all night. It was also the deepest throw Big Ben threw all night.
Yeah, I think it was the deepest. I think it was 41 yards, I think.
No, it was 23 yards.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Big Ben ain't throwing a ball 41 right now.
Unless he's throwing to Patty Muth, you never know.
I thought 41 yards. You he got to 41 yards.
I would like an apology from Joe because Patty Muth was on the field 85% of plays, and E. Brown was only in the field when they were on the goal line.
That's racist. What?
What the fuck?
I just want an apology because you said that I was wrong.
Ask Joe Green.
I didn't say you're wrong. I said they're dual starting tight ends.
But right? Are they dual? After watching the game, we watched it together. Are they dual starting tight ends?
I mean, no, but neither one saw some insane workload.
It takes time. It takes time.
If Hunter Renfrow is on waiver wire, are you picking him up?
Hell fucking yeah.
I can't do it.
6 catches for 70 yards, 9 targets, baby.
Yeah, I mean, how often?
Say sorry to Joe Green.
How often does Derek Carr throw the ball that much? He had 409 yards last night.
He's going to be doing it next week, I promise
you
that.
Let him sling.
Yeah, you know why? Because rest in peace to Josh Jacobs. He's got turf toe. He's probably writing up his will to his family as we speak. He'll never be the same. Never be the same.
Edwards, 4 catches for 81 yards. He didn't really do much to the end of the game. 5 targets. Keep an eye out for it. He is the number 1 on this team, I believe. Ruggs had it. What?
What on earth? Bryan Edwards is the number 1, but he wasn't targeted once until the 4th quarter.
Yeah, but he still plays it. Doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be. The role. He plays the role. He doesn't have to be the one. Okay. Anyway, Ruggs 2 for 43. He had 1 big catch. You guys are getting hyped up for no reason.
I agree. I'm off of Ruggs. I'm off of him. Darren Waller might be the best tight end in the league, though.
Who?
Darren Waller might be the most valuable tight end in the league as far as fantasy goes.
He does this every first 5 weeks, and he settles down.
He had 19 targets last night?
19 targets.
He does. If you look at the stats, he does in the beginning of the year. It's always this, and then teams just end up focusing him.
Joe, what's the stat? He's on pace for 340 something targets.
323 targets, I believe it is.
I'm looking it up right now.
While you're looking that up, we're going to talk about the New England versus the New York Jets.
Quick fun fact about the Patriots. Bill Belichick is 13-0 against rookie quarterbacks.
Are you sure? I thought they lost last year to Tua for some reason or someone.
No, I wish they lost to Tua last year.
Yeah, no.
I had Miami money line both times. They lost both times because I love that stat. I was like, it's got to change eventually.
Well,
it's in the first game.
It's not going to change this. Corey Davis. Last year. Keep cutting me off. I'm going to stab you through this TV. Corey Davis, huge game. Thanks to Billy. Paid him in the side. 5 catches, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. It's going to be a little bit harder this week going against the actual defense, even though they sucked last week going against Miami. I think Berrios is a waiver wire pickup as well. You don't think so? 5 catches, 51 yards, 7 targets. End of last year, he was this hot as well.
No, I don't think so.
Teams love him. Zach Wilson started really slow in the beginning, picked it up towards the end of the game. Once they let him sling it.
One thing I was surprised about, especially with all the hype around him, was Elijah Moore. He had 4 targets, 1 catch for -3 yards.
Yeah.
Brutal. It's the definition of yikes.
He's a rookie, so I'm going to wait and see. I think the biggest shocker was when I was watching Damian Harris run all over Miami. That looked great for Greg, who didn't even start him.
Yeah, he didn't like that very much. I will say he's one more fumble away from them just picking up Todd Gurley and just running with him.
They're all fumbling over there. Stevenson, Damian Harris, all of them fumbled.
Yeah. He did look very good, though. Damian Harris looked real good. A lot better than I thought he would. Right now, to be honest with you, Mike, I dropped Ramondre Stevenson. I'm going to hold on to him in our league and, like higher up leagues, like deeper leagues. But in, 10-team league, if you picked him up, he's dropped.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's droppable.
Real quick, I looked it up. So Tua did beat the Patriots last year.
The second game.
The second game. And also, Belichick's actually not undefeated versus rookie quarterbacks. He's 21-5. He's lost to Smith. I don't know what Smith it is. Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, McCoy, and Mark Sanchez.
That was fucking 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, he's not undefeated.
It has to be Alex Smith.
Thank you for finally fact checking one thing on the show. I appreciate it.
I think all we could predict is upside for Jacoby Myers, 9 targets for 6 catches.
Yep.
Same thing with Aguilar, 7 targets for 5 catches.
I think this week they can both be played in the flex with no issue.
Yep. Going against the Jets, not looking good. Patriots are gonna, do their thing. I think it's gonna be the battle of the rookies. Matt Jones looked great, honestly. 29 for 39, 39 attempts, passing 281 yards, 1 TD. He did fumble once.
Yeah. It helps Mac Jones that they can run the football as opposed to the Jets. The Jets are absolutely incapable of running the football.
Well, this is how you're supposed to, get a first round pick QB. You're supposed to have an offensive line before you get the QB. But,
yeah, I mean, Becton was a big part of that, and he's out for what? 6 weeks, you said? I think it's 6 weeks.
It's 4 to 6 weeks, but it's going to be more than 6.
Yeah.
It's going to be at least 6.
Yeah, he was the shining star out of the linemen last year outside of Wirfs and down in Tampa. Without him, they would not be able to run the ball whatsoever.
Well, they actually do have Moses, who they picked up. He's from Washington. It should be better running, but pass protection is going to be horrible.
Yeah, I'm off of them. I'm not touching any of the Jets running backs until they show me even the slightest bit of work.
Yep. As we're hurrying up, Atlanta versus Tampa Bay. We got the Hall of Famer Kyle Pitts, 22nd ranked tight end, going against Tampa Bay's defense. I don't know much more you want me to say about this. Mike Evans sucks. The biggest question for me is where the hell was Giovanni Bernard?
He was banged up, and then he wasn't even supposed to be active, and then they activated him that day. Mm-hmm. He was doubtful all week, but he did play a couple snaps, but nothing of substance. On the Falcons side, I do have that stat I wanted to bring up about Kyle Pitts, because Kyle Pitts, one of these days he's gonna score 1 million points, and you're gonna thank me. Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley accounted for 48.8% of the Falcons' targets and 81.8% of their air yards. You just go out there, buy low on Kyle Pitts right now. Obviously, he's not going to have a great game this week against the Buccaneers. I think that the Bucs D is really going to step back up this week after a real weak showing, after looking slow. Matt Ryan is worse than you are doing intros to podcasts. It's really bad. But in negative game script, eventually he's going to figure it out. I think it's just not this week. As far as the Bucs side, I really thought that that trash can Godwin was going to be the odd man out. Turns out I'm wrong.
I think it's just going to be every other week is different. Biggest question for me going forward, do you think Gronk continues his 8 catches, 90 yards, 2 touchdown stat lines?
Who you say?
Gronk.
No shot. I do think that the Antonio Brown work is sustainable. I said it in June. I wrote about it in June. It could just be my big head blowing it up a little bit because he was on the Steelers, but he's the best receiver on the team. There's no doubt about it. He's the most talented person on that team outside of Tom Brady. So, the only question I have is, we talked about it briefly earlier about the Bucs with Fournette and Ronald Jones. Like you said, there's rumors of Ronald Jones starting this week. Ronald Jones had 2 touches. It was Thursday night. I don't have it in front of me, but he fumbled the ball right away.
Yep.
Fournette could have a massive game against the Falcons. But yeah, my question to you is: do you think Bruce Arians is just trying to play with our emotions and flip flop back and forth and make life difficult for us fantasy players.
I think like I said, I always thought it was going to be Fournette being the lead back on this team going back into the playoffs. I mean, this is the alarming stat. He didn't have many carries. I mean, 9 attempts for 32 yards. The fact that he had 7 targets for 5 receptions is what's frightening, especially when Bernard's on the team. I know you said Bernard's hurt, but
yeah, he'll be back next week.
I mean, why are you throwing to Fournette? I mean,
at one point in the game, he had the most targets in the game.
Yeah.
It was insanity. And I'm sitting here with Mike Evans in my starting lineup to open up the fantasy season, and I'm screaming at the television.
Mm-hmm. We have to pick this up. To me, the best game of the week is Dallas versus LA. LA Rams. No, Chargers. Rams. It's one of the better games. I think it's gonna be. It has to be a shootout.
I hope so.
Gallop is hurt. Schultz looked like the top tight end on this team. 6 catches for 45 yards, even though
Blake Jarwin. Rest in peace, Blake Jarwin.
Yeah, you had one good season.
He had really. 3 good games.
He didn't have a season. It was like a game.
Yeah, but he had one good, fantasy. We talking him up and everything.
Yeah, everybody hyped him up in preseason. He balled out in preseason, had a great first game, and then died.
Didn't even get through the first game. He tore his ACL at halftime.
Didn't he have like 4 catches at halftime?
He was doing all right, and then he tore his ACL, and that was it.
I hate to see it.
Mike Williams.
I know what you're about to say, and I'm on the same bandwagon.
Mike Williams looked like a stud. 8 catches, 82 yards, 1 touchdown. I think both of it could be scary what Mike Williams and Allen can do together.
That's another one. Just like Antonio Brown, I said all offseason that he's somebody, if he stays healthy, will win you your league. He had 12 targets.
Yep. I think your number 1 stream tight end this year is going to be Jared Cook. He had a nice 8 targets for 5 yards, 56 yards.
Yeah, like I said before, I think it's real strange that Austin Eckler didn't have 1 target in week 1. And that's very strange to me.
We'll see this go. I mean, they should have everyone on offense on both teams should be going off.
Yep. Real quick, if you have an extra slot on the bench, go pick up Larry Roundtree. He's gonna come useful at one point in the season.
Tennessee versus Seahawks. Seahawks killed last week. Both, Lockett, like I said, 2 touchdowns last week. I said it was going to be the man. Metcalf a touchdown. Garrett didn't look that good, but he did have a touchdown. People were saying pick a waiver wire, but he wasn't featured enough. Didn't have enough targets for me to pick him up.
It's gonna be a big DK week this week, right?
I don't know. I think you'd be both big. I mean, going against Tennessee's defense, it looked like shit.
Yeah, Tennessee looked terrible.
Is this the end of the best, the safest running back in fantasy football? Henry, is this the end?
I don't know. It could be. I mean, Taylor Lewan looked like he's never played football in his life. He should probably just go back to podcasting because he can't play football anymore.
Going back from when Tennessee was in the playoffs until now, Henry's looked like shit.
I mean, it's one game. Yeah, the negative game script. You can't do anything if you're down. Like, what are you going to do? Bench Derrick Henry? Is that what you're going to do, Mike? 'Cause I'm not.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, are you going to sell him now? Sell him while he's still has a little bit of name?
I mean, he's always going to have name. There's always some idiot in your league that's like, oh, I'll take Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's on the same level as everybody else. No matter what league you're in, like you can be in like an all like fantasy expert league. One of those guys is gonna be smarter than the dumbest guy.
I guess.
There's always value somewhere. Like Josh Gordon just got picked up in our league. Come on.
On to the next one. Kansas City versus Baltimore. The night game, 8 p.m., baby.
This is going to be a shootout. I can't wait.
I honestly, Baltimore is not going to make the playoffs.
No, the Chiefs are going to blow them out.
They're not.
If they run that same... Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
That's all I wrote. Baltimore loses again and does not make the playoffs.
Baltimore ran cover 0 on pretty much every play in the fourth quarter and overtime last night. Like, I don't know. Were you guys watching the Peyton Manning Eli one?
No, I wasn't.
So you should have, because they were literally calling the play out. They were like, look, they're running cover 0 again. They're playing straight on man-to-man, no safety back there. What are they doing? They're going to burn them. They're going to burn them. And then every time it happened.
Well, did you see the stat on their defense coordinator? He blitzes like, I think it was 47% of the time. I was like, God damn.
It's one of the highest in the NFL, if not the highest, I think. I forgot what they said.
I'm pretty sure Ravens were always high.
Yeah,
regardless of coordinator.
They like to put pressure on the ball, which is not a bad thing. Like we said before, Lat Murray and Tyson Williams should both be owned. Neither one of them are losing value till we see again this week.
Yeah.
Because I think Tyson Williams was good in the passing game. I don't care what you say about him missing that block. He didn't miss the block. The lineman missed the block.
He also has a play that he went to the left he went to the right and it was supposed to be to the left. And that's when he started.
If you go back and look at that play, everybody went that way except for Lamar. Everybody went that way except for Lamar. Lamar called the wrong play.
I'm just saying he started to get benched from there.
You know, that's what. Listen, there's different things, and if you next week you should definitely check out the Peyton Manning Eli thing. It's fun. It's fun, like actually hearing people talk that actually know football and not Chris Collinsworth. You know what I mean?
This guy is one of the fastest receivers on the team.
Yeah,
shout out.
Like they're calling out coverages and like things like that. It was fun to watch.
What are you saying, Jody?
No, I said shout out ESPN for missing the Marlon Humphreys near interception that I saw on Twitter after the game. Like he literally picked off the ball, didn't realize he picked off the ball. ESPN never covered it once, nor did they cover Hunter Renfrow clearly stepping out of bounds on like a 30-yard play. I'm just saying it. Broadcast is terrible.
Yeah, I mean that was the difference between watching the regular broadcast and watching the Peyton Manning broadcast. He was like, that guy stepped out. What are they doing? No, they're not going to call that. And they just, it was brutal. Shout out to your Raiders, though. Shout out to your
Raiders. Last but not least, Detroit versus Green Bay, Monday night.
You think Aaron Rodgers is just collecting a paycheck at this point?
You're gonna know this game. If Green Bay doesn't just completely shit on offensively, if they lose defensively, I mean that's a different story. That's nothing to do with him. But offensively, this is the game where you should just, especially now that Detroit lost one of the corners. I forgot his name, the second overall pick or whatever.
Kuda, torn Achilles.
Yeah. It's horrible. Green Bay is going to dominate on offense. I think everybody, and if what's his name, Tyann or whatever, doesn't fucking have a catch or whatever he does, he's getting dropped.
Tyann, I was off of Tyann. I felt like it's a 1-year thing, man.
Could be.
You know, I will say, if you drafted Adams in the first round, you're probably the only person in the first round that should be freaking out a little bit. You know, like I'm not freaking out if I own Derrick Henry yet. You couldn't pay me to draft Saquon in the first round.
I'm just saying, people drafted Saquon in the first round.
I mean, I'm a Giant fan.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot then. Like,
his ADP was in the first round. Same with Zeke too.
Zeke. You know, I'd be worried if I was Zeke, but I'm not freaking out like I am with Devonta Adams. Like,
I'm not freaking out about Adams.
I would be. Because
why?
now you don't.
Why, though?
Now say he doesn't put up the wide receiver 1 numbers the whole year. Like, that was a winnable matchup to him. It's a winnable matchup.
He's going to put up wide receiver 1 numbers. He wants a contract.
Listen, I agree. But if Aaron Rodgers does more, he's just calling it in. I'm saying you should be freaking out. That's what I said. I'm over it.
Anyway, we gotta go. I don't care. We're going on studs and duds. We were right and we were wrong. I only have 2 rights. That's Devonta Smith. I believe that's a right. Joe Green, would you confirm?
Yeah, we called you right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And my dud of the week is Allen Robinson. Was I right?
Yes, you're definitely right.
All right. So I'm 2 for 4. Um,
I'm 1 for 4.
Yeah.
Really got Saquon. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I said that was cheap, but I'll take that one for last week.
That's okay, because I'm taking Saquon again this week.
I'm taking Saquon too, so please don't prove us both wrong. This week we have new studs and duds.
Hopefully better than last week.
It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot better.
There's 500 players that play in a day, and we're picking out of a hat 6 people. It's not picking out of a hat. You know what I mean? But like anything can happen in football.
I try to pick people that are high quality players that are going to be in your lineup every week, and I'm telling you to sit them. That's my goal.
Yeah, me too.
My studs. Number 1, we're going to flip the boat. Allen Robinson's going to go off this week.
He's going to have a nice game.
It's a nice game. And for nice, he has to be a top 10 wide receiver. What you would say a top 10 wide receiver for this to be a good. Yeah.
Sure.
I believe he should be better than that, but we'll see.
We're back and forth one each.
Yeah, you go to your stud. I'm
going DeAndre Swift. Dan Campbell got the win fantasy that he wanted against his opponent, so now he's just unquestioned. It's a plus matchup, I think. It's just for him personally because they're gonna be throwing the ball, and he led the team targets last week. He has the upside to be a top 5 running back this week, no problem.
Yep, Swift. That's your stud, number 1 stud. Mine's Mike Williams this week.
That's my
Love
third
it.
one.
I'm going basically with my whole roster. Hopefully they win. He honestly, he just looks great. He's going against Dallas. I think it's going to be a shootout. Mike Williams is healthy. He's finally getting receptions. I mean, he has the lowest catches for 1,000 yards season. So I'm expecting a big season from him. Mike Evans is my second stud.
He's my third stud on my list. So I'll just go into my second one because we didn't get to go over it because you rushed through the team. It's Chris Carson. I think that Rashad Penny being out, they just they'll use DJ Dallas a little bit if they have to. But if the Seahawks get up early, I think they're just going to run the ball. They're not going to let Russ cook against the Titans. Because if they let up a turnover and that game gets close, Derrick Henry has a chance to take over that game. So I think they're going to play a more conservative offense this week. And Chris Carson, he's got upside definitely this week. Mm-hmm. I really like Carson.
Last but not least, Noah Fant. Jerry Judy's out. There's only two people that are get the. If you say Tim Patrick's going to get the targets, I think it's going to be Noah Fant. Noah Fant looked great already against the Giants. Just cap it off.
Yeah, I mean, I said Noah Fant's going to have the biggest boost there, but I don't hate with you. I'm going to just go through my 3 sits real quick because this takes too long going back and forth. James Robinson, until Urban Meyer knows how to coach, he's off my team. He's on the bench. Mike Davis is just not a good matchup for him going against the Bucs, but he is a starting running back. He was in a lot of starting lineups this week. And Saquon Barkley, he's playing against the top. Even if he was fully healthy, no matter what, I'd go on a limb and say he's not going to score 10 fantasy points against the Washington football team. That front 4 is insane.
I'm going number 1, Gaskins this week.
I like that too.
2 is Barkley. 3 is Scary Terry. I think all of them have hard matchups except for Barkley. I think Barkley is washed. It's going to go down to one of the worst draft picks in Giants history because, you passed on QBs and offensiwant linemen.
Yeah, well, especially because he can't run to the right, but it's neither here nor there.
No, he can't run straight right now, so.
We want to do some questions real quick because we're already so far ahead. You might as well just do the questions.
Let's just jump into these real quick. Got a good bit. Some of these are probably just gonna have to answer online anyway. Are either of the Denver running backs worth starting over Chase Edmonds this week?
Ooh, that's much tougher than I thought that question was headed to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would just because James Conner outtouched. Did we even go over that game this week?
No, I said
did I mess up?
Yeah, I said to Mike, he skipped it. Just forget it. It's too late now. But I said to Mike in the notes, I was like, where did we not go?
I wasn't.
Oh, yeah, no. I thought we might have skipped it. I'd feel more comfortable putting Melvin Gordon over Chase Edmonds this week. James Conner out-touched him last week, but he made up for it in the passing work. It's just a better matchup for Melvin Gordon if you can. That's my pick. That's what I'm going with. I'm fine with either way you go though. I feel like they're going to score similar amount of points, within 1 or 2 fantasy points.
I'm going to go with Chase Edmonds just because of the fact that he's going to have more targets.
Yeah, make sure when you ask these questions, guys, that you put
PPR.
Yeah, PPR or standard half PPR, whatever league you're in. It helps us out a little bit because it does help. What's next?
Offered Saquon for Miles Sanders in the standard league. Should I do it?
Yes.
We think so, but I've been asked that question a lot. Not like the same players, but about Saquon. I have a few friends. I do it. I'd do it personally. I'd take the risk. We're both Sanders haters too, so it's not like.
This is what I would try to go for another running back that doesn't have an injury woes. Same caliber, but doesn't have that injury possibility. Because you're changing injury for injury. So, I mean,
is Tyson Williams a flex play from now on, or should I turn to someone like Nyheim Hines?
That's tough because you don't know next week what you're going to get. Unless Joe is absolutely lying to me, because I looked for the report saying that Lat Murray was going to be the starter next week, and I still saw nothing.
I didn't say Lat Murray was going to be the starter.
One of these fuckers I was with this weekend told me that, and there was a couple libations going on, so I just
I said I thought Lat Murray would be the starter next week.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Until you see what the breakdown is in a couple weeks, I honestly, especially this week, I feel a little bit more comfortable with Nyheim Hines going against the Rams. He got a lot of targets, and I kind of think that continues, especially against a tough defense. Yeah, it's going to be negative game script. They have to keep throwing the ball. I'm cool playing Najee in the flex this week, and then just to be safe, because I gave somebody the advice to start Josh Jacobs last night over Tyson, and I was wrong on that, but I really don't think I'm wrong on this one.
I'll agree with Billy, but I really don't have an opinion. I think either or.
It's tight because you don't know what you're getting out of Tyson yet. That's what holds me back. I played him last night in a flex spot. If that helps you, I didn't really have a choice though.
Last one I'm going to give you guys here because the rest of these are pretty simple to answer. He asked which 2 wide receivers should he start, but I'm going to remove one of them and just say one because he said Calvin Ridley's in this conversation. I'm not going to lie, he's not even the same tier as these other guys. So out of Mike Evans, Robbie Anderson, and Marvin Jones, which would you start?
Anderson. Well, trade Mike Evans. You gotta trade Mike Evans.
Nobody wants him. I asked 5 people today, Mike. Nobody wants Mike Evans.
You've been posting people about trading, and nobody wants any of your fucking players.
My entire team is on the trade block. Nobody wants Mike Evans.
I have nothing to say.
I'd have to go Robbie and hope that he gets more targets. Who's the third guy though? I forgot.
Marvin Jones.
Oh, that's so ugly. But Marvin Jones had more targets than both those players combined.
I'd let Mike Evans out again, to be honest, and hope he goes for 50.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Mike Evans. I know. I'm sorry if you get 5 points from him again, because he's gonna be in my starting lineup again this week too.
Yeah. I'm going Anderson.
I don't hate it, but I'm going Mike Evans officially.
That's it for the DM dumpster. The rest, like I said, I'll take care of online.
Wrap it up, Billy.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, follow, subscribe to the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Read the articles every week. Waiver wire is up now, a little bit more in-depth than what we talked about. You'll get more players listening to us here, but the in-depth players who I like a little bit more will be on there. DFS articles, real quick. If you call me trash for writing a DFS article, not knowing what you're talking about, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear it. I took that personally. I thought about it for 8 hours in a car ride home. I don't want to hear shit from you. You're a moron, that kid. Every week it'll be up regardless. Follow, subscribe. Betting Diagonal. It's gonna be Wednesday and Thursday now. Little schedule change, by the way. Joe, sorry.
You're good.
And we'll see you fuckers next week.
Peace.